So the Society for the Propagation of the Faith was founded in 1822, May 3rd. It was founded by the Blessed Pauline Jaricot in order to assist and help both financially and spiritually mission territories, young churches in mission lands, missionaries, and so on. It was founded in 1822, and it was so successful that in 1922, Pope Pius XI designated it pontifical. And it was founded in Lyon, France, and in 1922 it was moved to Rome. Pauline Jaricot was born just after the Revolution in the late 18th century, and her family lived through the Revolution, and she entered life just after and the beginning of the Industrial Revolution with a great challenge because of the treatment of workers and so on. She had a childhood that was normal. The family was practicing Catholic, but she didn't really think much about spiritual things or her faith. But then she had an accident when she was 16 years old doing housework, broke her leg. Leg wouldn't heal, it was infected. They sent her to the country to heal. And while she was in the country, her mother died. She was in great pain, and she suffered, I think, a kind of a depression. She came back to the city and went to church and heard a homily on the vanity of this world, where the priest said, you know, everything passes. Your beauty passes, our youth passes, everything passes, riches passes. One thing doesn't pass, and that is the love of God in Jesus. She was so touched by that sermon that she went to the priest, went to confession, renewed her faith, and her life changed 180 degrees. She put away all the fancy clothes she had because she came from a very well-off family. She put on the clothes of moderation, actually the poor. She went on the streets to talk to the poor, to help them, visit the sick. And her brother was a seminarian in Paris, wanted to be a missionary, and he sent her a letter saying that these missionaries in China and other places, they want to evangelize, but they don't have the means. He said, do something. And she came up with an idea to form groups of 10 people who would come together once a week, read the letters, reflect, pray for the missions, and offer 1 penny. And for each person to find 10 other people, to find new groups. This thing spread throughout France and throughout the world. It became incredible. She herself, she never became a religious, never entered a religious order, but she was profoundly touched by God and spent hours in Eucharistic adoration every day, praying the Rosary. She founded the Living Rosary, which became a phenomenon in the world. She gathered a group of women around her at her house. They would pray the Divine Office and other things. She had a chapel. So her life was completely dedicated. She also spent all of her funds to build a company, a factory for workers where they wouldn't be taken advantage of, where they'd have decent pay, decent living conditions, hours of work, etc. But unfortunately, the money was absconded by unscrupulous managers, and she lost everything. She died a poor person, but she never held a grudge. She forgave everyone, even those who abused her funds and her trust. And she was a dear friend of Saint Jean Vianney, who was the Curé of Ars, who considered her already in her life a holy person. And she died almost unknown in one sense, poor, but in the idea of holiness, because the people around her, closest people, friends, knew that she was a holy woman. I find her, for me personally, really inspiring. Personally, because she never became religious, but she was a woman, a lay woman in the world, in the church, who did so much. And because of her, now 900, almost 1,000 dioceses receive funds, support, spiritual support, and so on. This would never have taken place without her spiritual genius and her holiness of life. And in the end, she was vindicated because recently a miracle took place through intercession, approved by the Church, and so she was beatified. So Pauline Jaricot was a marvelous figure in the history of the Church, and I recommend her to your. You can ask her for her prayers because they are very efficacious.